My name's Rob Evans. I'm first and foremost a painter and an artist. I'm also an independent curator and an arts advocate. I work with arts organizations and helping push and sort of feed the arts community here. I live here in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania, along the Susquehanna River, on a ridge looking down over the river valley. It's a property that belonged to my grandparents, and I'm very lucky to be living here for the last several decades, actually, and call it home and my studio.
What inspired you in particular to focus on that aspect, that there was an opportunity here to tell a story that's really important and meaningful that might inspire people today to better understand what it means to be a citizen in a democracy?
The show itself evolved from an initiative that was started by the Susquehanna Gateway Heritage Area and to celebrate the Susquehanna River. And so I've always been fascinated by my lineage, having lived here for decades and painted the river. You know, what are my roots as an artist? So what other artists had explored this? And so as I did research, there were very few exhibits that had ever been done about the Susquehanna. I discovered that many of the greatest American painters had come to this river to paint, ranging from Benjamin West, like the father of American painting, all the way to Charles Demuth, the great American modernist who lived just 20 miles from here. An opportunity seemed to be there to explore that and document it perhaps in a way, in a more thorough way than had ever been done before. It consumed about 3 years of my life, but it was really a fascinating journey to kind of see how this river has been interpreted throughout history and how it reflects kind of the whole journey of our nation. You look at the early paintings of the river, it's sort of a wilderness, and it's pristine wilderness. And gradually you get the dots of civilization forming along the shores. And what makes the Susquehanna unique compared to other rivers is that it's a flat, it runs through a flat valley. It doesn't have waterfalls and rapids, major rapids. The things that are sometimes attract artists also weren't here, but what makes it unique is a very sublime, very beautiful flat river valley. And so that allowed for civilization to spring up along the shore. So eventually you have cities and towns, and then bridges and canals and railroads, and then that led to the lumber industry and the coal industry, which ultimately pretty much had a devastating impact on the river itself. And so it kind of mirrors what happened in the whole nation. There are two aspects to the show. There was a historical aspect. So there was a group of historic paintings pretty much up to about the 1950s or 40s. And then the second component of the show was a group of contemporary artists. And some of them were painting in the 60s and 70s. Others were more contemporary painting, in the recent years. So I invited a group of prominent contemporary artists to paint the Susquehanna. We had a lot of lead time in the show, so I was able to pull it off, although it was kind of a risky venture, because if they didn't produce work, I would have been stuck. But amazingly, everybody came up with some phenomenal imagery of the river, varied imagery, based on their particular style and vision as an artist, and nobody kind of painted the same thing. So it was really a nice body of work, but and more importantly, it kind of reflected the mindset of postmodernism, and that is sort of critique of culture and looking at what's happened to the river. So quite a few of the paintings dealt with the less picturesque and beautiful side of the river. It dealt with things like the flooding. We had a wonderful painting by Peter Paoni of the Agnes Flood, a painting of 3 Mile Island as though you're flying right through the steam, and above the power plant. So a lot of this art reflects the condition of the river currently and the need to look at that and preserve and protect the river valley. We were very lucky at the end of the exhibit. Many of these works were created specifically for the exhibit by contemporary artists, and when the show came down, some of them were still available. And instead of having them all go back to the gallery, to the dealers, and kind of vanish into the woodwork, we decided to make an effort to try to keep this collection together permanently. So we were able to raise the money to buy and purchase most of the works that you see in here. And so as you look around the room, many of these paintings, which were from the original show, are now part of a permanent collection here at the Susquehanna Gateway Heritage Area called the Visions of the Susquehanna Collection.